tonight. Pointless to try and turn back the time. I've never been this old in my life. Load up my spaceship, tear through the sky. I might leave regrets and wishes and hopes and bets and wondering what would happen. Think I'll leave it all behind. I don't wanna wake up and let my dreams die. This moment I'll make it mine. Don't tell me I'm wasting time. I'll show you what I'm made of and give my dreams life. I'll put it all on the line, just like I'm young, wild and alive.
So, if you're going to want professional looking videos out of your A6000, there's a couple of things we're going to actually have to consider, especially if we are shooting outside as well. Let's get out of this rain and we'll talk into it. Oh, all right. That was fun. My God, just started raining as soon as I got here, but anyway, this video is pretty much about the A6000, but it's not just the A6000, but any other budget camera as well. My audio is so far away from me. There we go. That's better. So anyway, where was I? We're talking about this camera. We're talking about cheap budget cameras. Now, there's nothing stopping you from creating incredible videos with your A6000 or any other camera for that instance. And there are only two major things that you pretty much need to invest in if you want to make it look like this and take it to the next level. So yeah, let's get it. What's going on, my friends? It's Jason here. I hope you're all doing absolutely amazing. I'm stuck in lockdown with the whole mask thing, but creating hasn't stopped me. I've got a ton of editing to do to catch up on, tons of gear review that needs to be done, and fortunately I've got a whole bunch of stuff here with me that I can still continuously create. But making your A6000 look as good as the A7S III, the FX6, FX3, whatever, is no easy task, but it can be done. Now, well, not exactly, but you'll need to invest in a couple of items first, and these items can be transferred over when you actually want to be upgrading from your A6000 or any other camera there. Now, yes, these items really do help dial it in and get that look that you're actually after. Now, first you want to consider a new lens. Now, you can't stick with the kit lens forever, but if you're using a kit lens, you know, you'll understand its limitations. Specifically, low light. The f-stop sucks, but creating videos in low light, you know, is very difficult. But I did just recently do a video on the A6000 and the kit lens with hot air ballooning, and I did show that you can still create some fairly decent images when it comes to that combination. Now, yes, the variable aperture is the main weakness of that lens, so I do suggest investing in a better lens. Sigma 16 f1.4, I'm shooting on the Sigma 30 f1.4. You can grab some full frame lenses if you want. This is the 85mm. It's up to you. Just remember, you need to times that lens by the crop factor 1.5. So the 50mm ends up being a 75, so on and so forth. Now, I do recommend the Nifty 50, the 50mm 1.8 OSS. That's a great lens because it has OSS, and it definitely does help with stability in the A6000. Now, it does have that fast 1.8 aperture, which is really good for that nice blurry background, and it's good for portrait photography, which is great. Now, the second thing that you actually will need to invest in is ND filters. Now, as most of you guys know, ND filters cut back on the light, so you can keep the shutter speed twice your frame rate and get that nice smooth motion blur. Now, this is very, very crucial. You must keep that shutter speed at as close to 180 degrees as possible to get nice smooth motion blur. Otherwise, yeah, it won't look as good. It'll look too sharp or look too much motion blur, and dare I say it, it will make it look cinematic when you keep that 180-degree shutter rule. Now, Freewell has just released their newest version of the ND filters. Now, these are pretty much the cream on top. They're just absolutely superb. They give you much more versatility than pretty much just your regular VNDs. Now, they are completely magnetic, great for switching it on the fly, and you can also put your mist filter as well in there. It also has a circular polarizing filter. The NDs go from 2 to 5 stops and 6 to 9 stops. But I mean, what more do you want? This thing is absolutely incredible. Now, I'll mainly be using the ND with the mist filter, which, you know, helps the highlights sort of bloom off. Gives that sort of, I suppose, dreamy effect, but not as digitally sharp. And yeah, just really nice roll off. It makes the image look really good, but definitely use this in certain situations. You don't want to be using it all the time. That's a lot of people's mistake, is they'll just leave it on there and it's just like, yeah, it's cinematic, but you don't want to be doing that. Select and choose the situation you're going to be using those filters in. But I've gone and also changed my settings as well. I've decreased the sharpness, the contrast, saturation as well, which this gives me a little bit more control in post-production. I don't like the look how it comes straight out of the A6000, but I do suggest if you do end up color grading, this is, you know, somewhat the best way to go about it. Now, the key in getting great images from your A6000 is to make sure that you have depth to the image. Using foreground is what I love doing a lot with a lot of my shots, and this just adds more layers to your image. Now, the sun is pretty bright and I am shooting wide open, currently using the 2 to 5 stops. There was a point where I was using the 6 to 9 stops, and I'm using the glow mist filter as well. Now, that helps keep my shutter speed twice the frame rate. With the B-roll, I am actually shooting in 50 frames per second, so my shutter speed is 1/100th, and then I will dial it in so the EV or the MM down below says pretty much 0. But what I like to do is I like to try and expose for the sky as much as possible, because you don't want to be losing a whole bunch of details out of the sky. It's kind of that fine line because the dynamic range isn't as good on the A6000, so you really just need to preserve those highlights as best as possible. Now, having an upgraded lens and that ND filter, you can really achieve something pretty incredible. Yeah, it may not be as good as the Sony A7S III or the FX6, but in the right hands, the right skills, you can certainly get something absolutely incredible. Anyway, guys, I hope this really helped you. If it did, give it a thumbs up. That would be absolutely amazing. Comment below. What camera do you use? Do you actually have any of these filters? Is that something you're going to be investing in? What lens are you currently using? Are you using the kit lens, or have you invested in some pretty fast primes? Really like to know. Comment below. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. All right, let's get it.